Good afternoon to evening sa inyong lahat. We will continue on with what we have left previously on our video lecture, ating introductory lecture on past 41 on agriculture. If you still recall, previously we have presented or I have presented to you some terminologies relating to agriculture and biological assets. So for this video lecture, we will talk about the recognition, the measurement, and providing you with illustrations on the normal questions, Q&A, covering this standard on past 41 on agriculture. Okay, so let us now continue. Now, for the recognition and measurement under past 41, ito po yung sinasabi sa atin ng standard. Okay? An entity shall recognize a biological asset or agricultural produce when and only when, take note po when and only when, ito okay? First is when the entity controls the asset as a result of past events. Okay? Pangalawa, if it is probable that future economic benefits associated with the asset will flow to the entity. At pangatlo, okay, the fair value or cost of the asset can be measured reliably. So, ito yung ating recognition criteria. When and only when, take note, kontrolado po ng entity yung asset, it is probable that future economic benefits will flow to the entity and we can measure the fair value or the cost of the asset. Okay? So please take note of that one. And you can read paragraph 11 as you like. Okay? But I would just like to maintain my focus, my emphasis on paragraph 10 on our recognition criteria. Okay, now, anong sinasabi dito sa paragraph 12 and 13? And let me emphasize on this one, kasi mga nakaparagraph po ito. Ang sinasabi po kasi ng IFRS sa mga standards kapag naka-bold, okay? Yung font nito, ito yung main character kumbaga sa story. Okay? So sa paragraph 12, ang sinasabi dito, a biological asset shall be measured. Measurement, on initial recognition and at the end of each reporting period. Ibig sabihin, parehas lang. Initially and subsequent to. Kasi may mga iba, may mga ibang assets na initially, ganito natin i-measure and subsequently, ganito din. Okay? So, for example, yung ating property, plant, and equipment, initially at cost, and subsequently, meron tayong dalawang options. Either we will use the cost model or the revaluation model. Okay, pero dito sa biological asset, for past 41, on initial recognition and at the end of its reporting period, i-measure down natin yung asset at its fair value. Ayan po, less cost to sell. So, pag sinortcut natin ito, FVLCS. Fair value less cost to sell. Okay? Where, sabi dito, except for the case described in paragraph 30, where the fair value cannot be measured reliably. Nabibigyan po natin yan ng diin mamaya. Kapag hindi po natin mamimeasure reliably ang fair value, ano ang gagawin natin? So, iskipan muna natin itong discussion dito. Babalikan natin yan mamaya. Titingnan natin yung nilalaman ng paragraph 30. Okay. Please also take note of paragraph 13. Ang agricultural produce daw, harvested, in-explain natin na kanong nakaraan ano yung agricultural produce, harvested from an entity's biological asset shall be measured at its FVLCS at the point of harvest. Okay? At ito pong measurement na ito is the cost at the date kapag na-reclassify na ang agricultural produce patungong inventory covered by IAS 2 or PAS 2. Okay? So, FVLCS ang ating measurement. Okay, now. Speaking of fair value less cost to sell, ang sabi sa IFRS 13, paragraph 8, no, is that the fair value is the price that would be received to sell an asset or paid to transfer a liability in an orderly transaction. Magkano mo binibenta? Magkano ko bibili? Kung ano yung napagkasunduan, edi yun yung ating fair value. Alright. Ano naman ang cost to sell? So, cost to sell daw, per our definition, per paragraph 5 nitong standard na ito, is the incremental costs directly attributable to the disposal of an asset. Pero hindi po dito kasama yung finance cost and yung income taxes. So take note po nito, excluding finance cost and income taxes. All right? So take note. Next. O, paragraph 15, paragraph 16. Para saan naman po ito? Basahin po natin. Paragraph 15, anong sinasabi? Yung fair value measurement daw ng biological asset or agricultural produce, these two being under the scope of PAS 41, may be facilitated by grouping, by grouping daw biological assets or agricultural produce according to significant attributes. Okay, ayusin lang natin, Ito na lang siguro para mas maganda. Ayan, this one. By significant attributes. Okay? Palitan natin kulay. Ayan. For example, by age or quality. So, in terms of the significant attribute, si entity na yung bahala in the selection of that attribute kung ano yung mas appropriate. For purposes of identifying magkano yung price. Alright? Entities often enter into contracts to sell their biological assets or agricultural produce at a future date. Okay? Ito yung mga kasunduan na, sige, in 3 months time, bilhin natin yung mga, yan. Okay? Yung mga baka na yan, bilhin natin yan. Okay? Contract prices are not necessarily relevant daw. Okay? Kung magkano naman ang napagkasunduan in the future sa pagbili at pagbenta ng mga biological asset or agricultural produce, hindi po yan necessarily relevant sa pagsusukat kung magkano yung ating fair value. Because when we are talking of fair value, magkano yung napagkasunduan based on current market conditions. Okay? So, as a result now, the fair value of a biological asset or agricultural produce is not adjusted because of the existence of a contract. Alright? So, take note lang po nito. Now, in some cases, a contract for the sale of a biological asset or agricultural produce may be an onerous contract as defined in PAS 37. Okay? And we will consider PAS 37 when applying, when it is applied to onerous contracts. So pag sinabi po natin onerous contract, may consideration. Hindi po ito yung mga libre. Kasi pag may mga libre, ito yung mga gratuitous. And commonly, itong mga terms na onerous, mga gratuitous, na-encounter po natin sa mga law subjects, sa mga taxation subjects. Okay? Pero siyempre, ma-encounter din po natin yan dito sa subject na ito. Now, let us continue. Sa paragraph 25, basahin natin ito ha. Please bear with me dahil itong mga dinidiscuss natin so far medyo textual, medyo standard-based. Pero later on, we will deal with the computation. Ang mga bioassets daw are often physically attached to the land. So halimbawa, yung mga puno. Okay? Trees in a plantation forest. Although careful tayo kasi 'di ba may pinag-uusapan tayo yung mga bearer plants. Okay, so alamin natin dapat, no, kung alin yung covered ng PAS 41, alin yung covered ng PAS 16, alin yung covered ng PAS 2. Kasi medyo, alam nyo na, no, dikit-dikit itong mga ito. Now, kapag yung mga biological assets ay nakakabit sa lupa, kasi yung puno ay hindi naman magiging puno kung walang lupa, di ba? So, how do we consider magkano yung value ng biological asset? If there may be no separate market for biological assets that are attached to the land, okay? But an active market may exist for the combined asset, which is yung biological asset at saka yung lupa, no? Whether raw land at saka may mga land improvement. Okay. So, in determining the market value, okay, the fair value, an entity may use information regarding the combined asset para masukat natin magkano yung fair value ng biological assets. Okay? So, papaano? So, i-deduct natin kung magkano yung value ng land at saka ng land improvements doon sa combined asset at kung ano yung matitira, yun yung fair value ng biological asset. Okay? So, we have to be open-minded, open-minded with these possibilities because when problems are presented to you, the possibilities are endless. Okay? So, at least, no, napapasadahan natin po ito at na-explain kahit papaano. Alright. Gains and losses. No? Sa paragraph 26 and paragraph 28, nakapresent po sa atin ang discussions on gains and losses and supported by paragraph 27 and 29, respectively. Now, anong sabi sa paragraph 26? A gain or loss arising on initial recognition of a biological asset at FBLCS, no? And from a change in FBLCS of a biological asset shall be included in P&L for the period in which it arises. So, ang gains and losses daw, gains or losses, no, ay kukonsider natin kung kailan ito nangyari. Okay? Number 28, a gain or loss on initial recognition of agricultural produce at FBLCS shall be included in P&L on the period in which it arises. Parehas lamang. Parehas lamang po ang tinutukoy ng 26 at 28. 26, pinag-uusapan natin bioasset. 28, agricultural produce. Pero, ano ang tinutukoy? Tapon natin sa P&L kung kailan nangyari. Mamaya, no, bibigyan natin yun ng example through the illustration. Ito po yung ating mga pro forma journal entries. Okay? Debit ka, biological asset, which is measured at FBLCS, initially and subsequently. Okay? Expense, debit din. Okay? Kung hindi natin yun ika-capitalize. And credit, cash, kung magkano po natin yun napili. Basic journal entry. Siyempre, biological asset is an asset at the normal balance debit. Kung magkano ang binayaran natin, halimbawa, bumili ka ng mga baboy, siyempre, you have to recognize your biological asset at binayaran mo yan, edi credit ka to cash. Eto, pag may nanganak na hayop, okay? Yung hayop na yun, para tayong galit na galit, ano? Totoo naman, no? Yung hayop na yun, animal, okay? The newborn is classified as a biological asset and kino-consider po natin ito as income. Na, anong sabi sa paragraph 26, 28? 26, syempre, biological asset ito. Tapon natin sa P&L. So, ito yung ating magiging journal entry. Debit biological asset and credit income from changes in fair value ng biological asset. Kasi syempre, bigla, suddenly, nagkaroon ka ng mga manok. Okay? Ng itlog at saka naging sisiyo. May value yon kung magkano man yun. Yun yung income mo from changes in the fair value of the biological asset. Kasi from 0, and then suddenly nagkaroon ka ng mga hayop. Okay? So, kaya ganyan yung ating entry. Ito, illustration. Assume natin ang mga sumusunod na information kay Montclair Farms. Okay? Ito, basic lang ito, no? Just to illustrate the journal entries. Pero without any need for computations. Basic lang, no? Pag pinag-add natin or selection nitong mga ito. Ang fair value less cost to sell mo at the beginning, okay? Beginning of 2022 or on December 31, 2021, 3.5 million. Ang biological asset na binili during 2022 is for purchase price mo, 4 million. Fair value less cost to sell upon purchase, 3.9. So, anong gagawin ko dyan? Mamaya, tignan natin. Ano? Income arising from change in fair value less cost to sell during 2022. And take note, pinaghiwalay no, ang income arising from price change and arising from physical change. Ang isa, 1.2 million. Ang isa, 2.5 million. We will elaborate on this later on another comprehensive illustration. Okay? And then last, no? Binenta yung biological asset during 2022. Kung magkano man yun, ano? O kung ilang piraso man yun, ang value nun ay 4.2. So, papaano po ang ating mga journal entries from the acquisition up to the disposal? Okay. Tignan po natin itong info na yan. 4 million versus 3.9. Ano ang journal entry at magkano yung amount? Ito po ang ating journal entry. Ito na, no? Dito magmamatter yung entry na pinakita natin kanina. Class, take note that the biological asset should be measured at the fair value less cost to sell. If the amount is 3.9 based on the information, you debit the biological asset by 3.9. But if your purchase price is 4 million, ibig sabihin, may 100,000 ka na in expense. Okay? In case of difference, no? Yung 100,000 dito, ang ibig lang sabihin ay meron kang expense na hindi nakakapitalize. So, yung binayaran mo is the 4 million. So, meron ka pang expense na related dito sa acquisition ng biological asset. Okay? So, take note po nito. Ito naman. Income arising from change in fair value. So, ang pro forma entry natin, di ba, is a debit to the biological asset and credit to income. Pero dito, kailangan natin silang paghiwalayin. Yung isa, income from changes in FBLCS due to price change. At saka yung isa, due to physical change. Kaya, ang total increase, take note ha, total increase in biological asset mo for the period ay 3.7 million. The two combined. Okay? So, easy pa lamang, easy mode pa lang naman tayo. And last journal entry, for the sale of biological asset, syempre, ibebenta mo yung biological asset, we need to recognize. I-credit natin yung biological asset and anong debit mo? Yung proceeds. Okay? So, in this case, debit cash, credit biological asset para sa 4.2 million. Okay? So, maliwanag po ito, ano? I hope maliwanag po ito. Now, we continue. Sa notes to the financial statements, okay, sa disclosure, we need to present a reconciliation of the changes in the carrying amounts from the beginning of the period to the end of the period. So dito makikita ninyo, at the beginning of the year, meron tayong 3.5, di ba? So ito yon. Meron kang binili. At syempre, yung biological asset should be carried at the FPLCS. Hindi yung 4 million. Meron kang income na tapon sa P&L, yung 3.7. And then, may disposal tayo, binenta natin 4.2. So, pag tinanong ka, magkano yung ending balance, magkano yung carrying amount ng iyong biological asset as of December 31, 2022. So, ang sagot natin is 6.9 million. Okay? So, I hope this is clear for everyone. Okay? But let me know in case you have any questions related to this. All right. So, ayan. Anong sinasabi dito? In terms of the presentation, ang biological asset na hindi po natin inaasahan na madidispose or maibebenta within 12 months after the reporting period. O di syempre, it will have to be classified under non-current asset. Basic, di ba? Pag ine-expect natin yan na ma-dispose within 12 months, edi it is presented as part of your current asset. And in terms of the income from changes, sabi natin kanina, okay, nasa P&L and it is part of your revenue. Siyempre, di ba? In the statement of comprehensive income. Okay? Klaro, ano? Next, dito na tayo sa medyo challenging. Illustration 2. Ito yung involving computations talaga. We need to find out especially magkano yung income from changes in fair value less cost to sell, arising from price change, and arising from physical change. Okay, now, ito po yung ating problem. Kunin natin yung mga critical info, ano? Hanapin po natin ang mga dapat hanapin. Meron ka ditong 20. Ay, anyari? Sorry. Ulit. Purahin muna natin. Ayan. So, meron tayo ditong herd. Okay? Herd of 20 2-year-old animals. 20 peraso, 2 taong gulang ang mga hayop na yon. Okay? Kailan? On January 1. Okay? Take note po nito, ha? Tapos, ngayon naman, meron kang 5 mga animal. Animal, no? Age 2.5 years old. Na binili kailan? July 1, 2022. On the same date, merong 4 na animal na ipinanganak. Okay? So, ilan yan lahat? Ilan na sila? 20, 5, 4. But take note of the dates, ha? Kasi on January 1, 20 pa lang sila. Tapos nung July 1, nadagdagan. Okay? Nung December 31, may naibenta. 10. Okay? 10 animals were sold. At December 31, 2022, yung mga 3 taong gulang. Okay? Naibenta ito at fair value. So, we are provided with different dates and corresponding amounts that we have to consider. Take note po nitong mga ito, mga kapatid. Okay. January 1, 15,000 ang value ng mga 2-year-old animals. On July 1, ang value ng newborn, 8,000. Yung 2.5 years old, 20. And on December, ito yung mga value ng ating mga hayop. Okay? Anong gagawin natin? Next. Ayan. Tignan po ninyo ito. I-emphasize muna natin. Okay? Yung 5 animals na yung edad ay 2.5 years old na binili natin noong July 1, 2022. Magkano ang value nun? 20,000 kada isa yan, ha? Per unit, nakalagay po dito, per unit, fair value less cost to sell. So, kung kada isa ay 20,000, binili mo yan, magkano yung nilabas mo na pera? assuming walang ibang expenses, okay? O, ito yung ating entry. Debit biological asset, credit cash for 100,000. Okay? Without any information about expense account, no? Huwag tayo mag-assume. O, debit ka biological asset, 5 times 20,000. 100,000. Okay? So, emphasize po natin yan, ano? It should have been recorded by July 1, 2022. Kasi may binili ka, naglabas ka ng pera, eh syempre, ano, kung hindi mo yan ni-record, magkakaproblema ka sa yung ano, no, monitoring. Okay? Ng mga, especially ng cash account mo, ng cash flow. Okay. Ito, highlight po natin naman itong on the same date, which is on July 1, 2022. May nanganak, may ipinanganak na 4 na hayop. Ang value niya on July 1, 2022 ay 8,000. We need to consider the biological asset born. Okay? We have to debit biological asset and credit income. Okay? So, ito yung ating journal entry. Income from changes in fair value less cost to sell, 4 times 8 is 32,000. Sa ngayon, class, no, we do not classify the income as what? Price change or physical change. Okay? Mamaya na po natin yan i-reconcile, i-elaborate. So, na-consider na natin yung 5 na binili at yung 4 na naipanganak on July 1, 2022. Of course, for problem solving, for classroom purposes, no, convenient tayo dito. Usually, mga year-end, no, mid-year, sabay-sabay na nagbili at may naibenta, may binili, may naipanganak. Okay? Pero syempre, in practice, it will happen at different dates. So we have to be cautious, no, in determining the fair value less cost to sell. Okay? Now, ito. Meron kang nung January 1, 20, di ba? 22-year-old animals. Okay. Siyempre, on July 1, ilang taon na yan? 2 kalahati. Eh, pansinin ninyo, from January 1, 15,000 ang value ng isang 2-year-old animal. Pero on July 1, ang value ng isang 2.5-year-old animal ay 20,000. Ito, no? Kaya natin highlight. So, meron tayong 5,000 increment. So, anong gagawin ko dyan? Okay? So, dito, without consideration whether this is a price or physical change, alam po natin, nag-increase tayo ng 5,000 kada isa, tapos 20 yun. E di, meron tayo 100,000 na income from changes in fair value less cost to sell. Makikita? No? Nasusundan po yung ating mga example. So, in this case, yan yung ating journal entry. Nadagdagan ka na naman ngayon ng biological asset for 100,000 pesos. Take note ha, July 1, 2022. Kasi kinonsider natin on July 1 yung binili natin at yung mga naipanganak. So, i-consider mo na rin yung income from changes in fair value less cost to sell. Para updated na ang iyong records as of July 1, 2022. Okay? O ngayon, proceed tayo. Pagdating ng, ayaw bumalaw. Ayan. As of July 1, 2022, meron na tayong 29 animals. Ito yung mga value nila. Okay? So, fair value less cost to sell mo, no, is 20,000 kada isa. Okay? Newborn, at saka yung 2.5 na binili. So, ang total value ng iyong biological asset ay 532,000 pesos. Makukuha naman po kailangan lang itong tiyagain kung sakaling medyo nakakalito. Okay? Proceed. Ito na. Comparison na po tayo between July 1 and December 31. After 6 months. Kung newborn siya noong July 1, kalahating taon na ang edad niya on December 31. Kung 8,000 yan before, nung ipinanganak, ang value niyan ngayon ay 9,500. So, nagkaroon tayo ng increase na 1,500. Okay? So, paano yun? Siyempre, meron ka na namang increase, di ba? From changes in fair value less cost to sell. So, that is an income on your part. So, de-debit ka ngayon ng biological asset for ilan? For na animals na buhay, di ba? Times yung difference na 1,500. O, di meron kang 6,000 increase in biological asset for the newborn. Okay? Next. So, eto, nilagyan po natin ng changes in December. So, from 32 na dagdagan ng 6,000. So, it should be now 38,000. Ano? Pero ni-retain natin dito yung original. Ang hindi natin nalagyan is yung total 32 and 6. But it's okay. Next. Ito naman tayo. Yung binili mo na 2.5 years old. Okay? Na nagkakahalaga ng 20,000 ng July 1. 3 taong gulang na yan by December 31. Magkano na yung value niya? 28,000. Ilang peraso yung binili mo? 5 hayop, di ba? So, times 8,000, the difference between 28 and 20. So, meron kang 40,000 increase in your biological asset with respect to the animals that you purchased by mid-year ng 2022. Okay? That is your journal entry. Now, let us move on. So, dinagdagan na po natin ngayon ng 40,000. So, it is now 140,000. Okay? Dito na tayo. Yung original, from the beginning of the year. Ngayong katapusan, 3 taong gulang na yan. So, nung July 1, nag-update tayo at 20,000 kada isa na yan. Ngayon, madadagdagan ng 8,000 kada isang hayop. Kasi 28,000 na yung fair value less cost to sell niya. So, in that case, dagdag ka ng 8,000 kada isa. Ilang piraso yun? 20. Eh di 20 times 8,000. You have 160,000 na income from changes in fair value less cost to sell. Pakita natin, ang kakalabasan niyan, from 400, nadagdagan ng 160 at 560. Now, kung titignan niyo po yan, okay, 532 nadagdagan ng 260. By December 31, 2022, okay, ang value ng biological assets mo, supposedly, is 792. Pero take note, merong naibenta, di ba? Yung 10 animals. Okay, siyempre, ibebenta mo yan at 28,000. Okay? I-recognize natin yung 10, tatanggalin natin sa ating monitoring. So, siyempre, 10 times 28,000 na ibenta sa at fair value, dinabawasan ka ngayon ng 280,000 sa iyong biological asset. Bawas yun doon sa 792,000. Okay? So, in this case, ayan, itong bagay. Ito na siya. 700. Okay, ito yung combined ng dalawa, yung binili at saka yung mga original. Okay? Kaya nakalagay dito combined. Yung 20 at saka yung 5. So 700,000 na bawasan ka ng 10, 420,000 yung 3 years old. Tapos yung 0.5 years old na 4, it's 38. So 458. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na 792 minus 280. Oh, sorry. Ilan nga ito? Ayan. 532 plus 260. Okay, 792. Minus, Ayan, ano? Ang paga lang. Please bear with me, ano? Okay, eto, ano? Minus, ayan, 38, sorry, 700,000, okay? Minus 280. So, 420 yung ating 15 animals na natitira. Tapos, meron kang apat na hayop, no, na 0.5 at 30,000. Ang total mo ay 458. Okay? So, eto yung natitira sa atin. Now, baka tanungin mo ako dito, Sir, sandali po. If this is my biological asset, no? Okay? As of, okay? As of July 1, 2022, and this is 532. Nadagdagan tayo ngayon dito ng 260. So, hindi, di ba dapat ito po ay 792 na ang total, no? Pero, meron kang naibenta na 280. Okay. So, kung nabenta mo 280, hindi po ba dapat ang ating value ng ating mga biological assets ay 512,000? Eh bakit ngayon dito it's 458? Kung sakaling yun yung naiisip mo, ano, i-reconcile po natin yan mamaya. Okay? Pupunta po tayo doon. So ano nga ba ang tamang sagot? Should it be 458 or yan po ba ay 512? Okay? Are we missing something? So, which is which? Okay? So, bakit meron akong 512? Now, tignan po natin muna ito. Ito yung income, no? From changes in fair value less cost to sell. Okay? Meron kang apat na animals na newborn, di ba? On July 1. So, 32. Ito yung mga accounted natin kanina. Ito yung may mga journal entries din tayo. Okay? So, 2.5 on July 1. 20 animals na ito. Tapos yung newborn, nadagdagan ka, 6. Okay? 2.5 nadagdagan. Alright? Yung 2.5 na ngayon, 3 taong gulang. Yung mga originally from January 1, eto din sila. So, ang total income mo from changes in fair value less cost to sell ay 338. Now, oh sir, ano yan? Ano ngayon? Siyempre, etong amounts na ito ang ipipresent natin sa iyong statement of comprehensive income. Diba? Okay? So, sir, di ba kailangan natin i-present, i-classify sila. Yung isa, changes in, due to price change. Yung isa naman, changes due to physical change. Kaya yun yung gagawin natin sa ngayon. May color coding tayo dito. On January 1, okay, 15,000, 2-year-old. Tapos dito naman, December 31, naka-highlight, 2-year-old animals. Yung newborn, mga naka-green, yung 2.5, shade ng blue ito. Okay, para meron tayong guidance. Anong gagawin natin dyan? Kung pag-uusapan po natin yung difference in prices, okay, 2 years old, different dates. Okay? So, same age, different dates. Yung isa January, yung isa December, pero same age. Same age, different date. Take note ha. Same age, different date. Kung magkano man yon, tapos i-multiply po natin sa ilang piraso yung mga hayop na yon, that is your income from changes in fair value less cost to sell due to price change. Same age, different dates. Sir, ano yung different? Yung taon. Okay? Pero we will refer our the prices, no, yung FBLCS based on that same age. So, same age, different dates. Yun yung i-compare natin. So, yung from 15 naging 16.5. Okay? From 8 naging 8.5. And then from 20 naging 23. Kaya makikita nyo po dito, 8.5 minus 8, 16.5 minus 15, 23 minus 20. Kino-compare natin yung changes na yun, 500, 1,500, and 3,000 respectively. I-apply natin dito sa 4, sa 20, at sa 5. Ito po yung total nila. Okay? So, ang ating income from changes in fair value, less cost to sell due to price change ay 47,000. Okay? And now, we move on to physical change. So, tandaan po ninyo ha, due to price change ay 47. Due to physical is magkano? Basta, ang sure tayo, no, yung in-account natin kanina na 338,000, ito dapat yung kabuuan na makukompute natin. So ngayon, na-compute na natin, out of 338, meron tayong, magkano yun? 47,000 due to price change. So we are expecting that we have a 291,000 income due to physical change. Okay. Now, sir, bakit 259 yan? Teka lang ha. Careful lang tayo. Easy lang, relax lang muna. Tignan po ninyo ito. Pag ang pinag-uusapan natin ay physical change, same what tayo dito? Same year or same date, different age. Kanina, same age, different dates. Price change. Ngayon naman, pag physical change, same date, different age. So, yun nga lang medyo nakakalito ito eh. Kahit na paulit-ulit nating bigkasin yung same age, different date, same date, different age, eh magkaka-sounds like eh. So, parang nakakalito tuloy. But that is one way of familiarizing or memorizing how much is the income from changes in FBLCS due to price, due to physical. But if you can think of something, some approach that you can still remember it, try to do so. Okay? In case you cannot follow what I am talking about. But for physical change, same date, lahat po December 31, pero kino-compare natin yung mga magkakaibang edad. So kung newborn ito, noong July 1, syempre i-compare natin yan sa 0.5. Pero syempre same dates. Yung 2 years old, ko-compare natin ito ng 3 years old. Ang 2.5, ko-compare natin ng 3 years old. Bakit? Kasi meron tayo nung in-acquire ng July 1, 2.5 siya. Okay, yung 4, no? Tama ba? 5. So ngayon, 3 years old. Tapos yung from January na ngayon ay, na 2 years old yung January, ngayon ay 3 years old. Okay, so yun yung nagiging comparison natin. Okay, so if we are expecting 291, eh bakit 259 lang yan? Eh nasaan yung 32? Okay, so yung ating 32 ay, kaya ba't ayaw? Mabas. Okay, ito yun, naka-asterisk. Yung due to physical change mo. And let me highlight this one, baka mamaya, sir, mali ka naman eh. 259 kasi meron tayong nawawala. Etong 32,000 na ito na due to physical change kasi naipanganak siya noong July 1, 2022, physical change. Wala naman yan before, ngayon meron na. Kung may mga newborns tayo, okay, that is due to physical change. Kaya yun yung ating reconciliation. 47 due to price change, 259 due to physical change, and then your newborn on July 1, 2022 in this case. Okay? Take note ha, yung physical change natin, kinumpare na natin sa 20, no? January 1, tapos December 31. Okay? So that is how you compute, no, for the changes in fair value less cost to sell due to price change and due to physical change. So paulit-ulit ka naman, ang tagal-tagal natin nagdi-discuss, ang bagal-bagal. I just want you to be careful on this one, on this computation, because believe me, this is confusing. This is tricky for many students, no matter how easy it looks. Okay? Kaya, ingat-ingat po tayo sa pagsusolve dito sa mga changes in FBLCS. Okay. So now, anong karugtong? Yan. So, ito na yung sinabi ko kanina. This is a biological transformation, yung birth ng animal. Now, tagal. Ayan. Ito na yung ating reconciliation. Tingnan po natin ha. Beginning, meron tayong 300. Okay? Plus 100. Plus 47 plus 291. That is 738. Sir, 738 lang pala. Ano yung kanina na sinolve-solve pa natin? Na 500 plus. Babalikan natin ano. And I want you to double check on that one. Okay? So, kasi pinakita natin doon kanina yung side by side between July and your December. Okay? Yung mga increases. Okay? Pero, ito yung ating reconciliation. Okay? Beginning 300. Tapos may binili ka 100. Itong 100 mo plus 47 plus 291. Ito yung ating, okay? Sorry, yung 291 plus 47, ito yung ating changes na increase. Tapos meron kang additional purchases. Okay? Tapos may benta ka, ang balance mo dapat ay 458. And we can verify it with what is left, no? Yung on hand natin na biological asset. Yung 0.5 years old at saka yung 3 years old, no? Ilang piraso yon, careful tayo doon. Okay? So, the total is 458,000 pesos. Okay? So, it has to be disclosed in your notes to the financial statements, reconciling your beginning up to the end. So, that is your movement, movement of your biological asset. Okay? So, sana po naiintindihan po ito, ano? Pero, as a take-home, personal assignment, kindly double check what I have presented previously, comparison between the beginning, okay, between July 1, tapos yung movement natin papuntang December, yung ating increases. Okay? Baka meron lang na hindi napansin doon kanina si Sir. Kaya yung na-solve natin is 790 something. Alright. Okay? Ito na. Balikan na po natin itong inability to measure fair value reliability. So we are done with the computations, and the computation is what is normally reflected in quizzes, exams, even board exam, no? Pag nadadamay po sa topic yung biological asset. In terms of the volume of questions, okay, medyo maliit lang kasi maliit lang naman yung passport. Okay, so pero syempre, we have to be aware of this topic because we cannot really tell saan huhugutin yung mga topics ng mga exams. Okay, now, enough talking. Let us discuss the inability to measure fair value reliability. So ito yung sinasabi natin kanina, no, na paragraph 30. Meron daw tayong presumption na yung fair value can be measured reliably for a biological asset. Pero paano kung hindi natin yan mag-measure? So meron tayong pwedeng i-rebut. So we can rebut that presumption. na anong sinasabi dito? The presumption can be rebutted only on initial recognition. Okay? Kasi moving forward, we can really tell no, magkano fair value. Pero at the initial recognition, pwedeng i-rebut na. Sandali, we cannot identify magkano yung fair value. No, we cannot reliably measure. Okay. So, anong sabi? Kompletuhin nga natin ito. However, that presumption can be rebutted only on initial recognition for a biological asset for which quoted market price are not available. Okay? Hindi daw available ang quoted market price and for which alternative fair value are determined to be clearly unreliable. So, hindi available yung quoted market price tapos alternative fair value measurements are unreliable. So, anong gagawin natin dyan? Pag hindi natin matukoy reliably magkano yung fair value, ang basis of measurement at initial recognition is its cost less accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment loss. So, past 16. Okay, cost model. Okay? So, we will measure the fair, the biological asset at its cost less accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment loss if we cannot reliably measure. But that can only be done on initial recognition. Now, once the fair value ng biological asset becomes reliably measurable, so we need to value the asset at its fair value less cost to sell na. Okay? So, hindi na po natin siya pwedeng i-measure at cost less accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment cost. Once, we can now reliably measure the fair value. Take note niyan ha. Please take note. So, for this paragraphs 31, 32, 33, I want you to read this on your own. No? Pakibasa po nito para maintindihan yung supporting paragraphs on paragraph 30. Hindi na po natin ito i-elaborate. Andyan siya para basahin, hindi para tignan lang at titigan. Okay, next tayo. No? How about government grants? So, government grant ay kino-cover po ng past 20. No? I'm always confused by past 20 and past 23. Yung isa, borrowing cost. Yung isa, government grant. No? Okay. So, anong sinasabi dito? In relation to past 41, an unconditional government grant related sa biological asset measured at its fair value less cost to sell shall be recognized in P&L when and only when the government grant becomes receivable. Okay? Pero, take note ha. Highlight po natin. Unconditional. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Walang hinging kapalit. So, when the government grant becomes receivable, siyempre, acknowledge po natin yan sa P&L as income. Okay? But, if the government grant related to biological asset is conditional, okay? An entity shall recognize the government grant in P&L only when and only when the conditions are met. So, ganun din naman yung ating discussions niyan sa government grant. We have separate video lecture on government grant discussion. So, doon kadalasan conditional yung government grant at kino-consider lamang natin yan sa P&L kapag na-satisfy yung condition for the government grant. Unless that is unconditional, tapon diretso sa P&L. So, dito pag may government grant related sa biological asset, tatandaan po natin, conditional ba yan? Unconditional. Pag unconditional, tapon sa P&L when the government grant becomes receivable, pero pag conditional, pag na-satisfy na yung condition. Okay? Pabasa na lamang po nitong supporting paragraphs in relation to government grants. Okay? Especially, sige, parang gusto ko itong i-highlight, i-emphasize na paragraph 37. Okay, sabi dito, no, if a government grant relates to a biological asset measured at costless accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment loss, no, past 20 is applied. Eh, ano yung past 20? Past 20 is on government grant. Okay, so mas maganda siguro ano if you can double check your my video lecture or the topic on past 20 para at least no you can compare no etong government grants in relation to biological asset at yung mga government grants under past 20. Okay? So there we have it. Now, what is next? Ang susunod ay mga related disclosures. So, malapit-lapit na po tayong matapos. Huwag po kayong mag-alala. Ano po ang nasa disclosures? Eto class, ano ang sinasabi ng ating paragraphs 40 and 41 about disclosures on biological assets. So, i-disclose po natin yung aggregate gain or loss arising during the current period on initial recognition of bioasset and agricultural produce and from the change in FPLCS. Tapos, kailangan meron tayong description of each group of biological assets. Kung hindi po yan disclose, okay, it will have to be, the entity shall describe ano yung nature ng activities for each group of biological asset and non-financial measures or estimates of the physical quantities. Okay? An entity, puro yan naka-bold ano, yung paragraphs. Disclose din daw yung existence and carrying amounts of the biological asset whose title is restricted. Okay? Tsaka yung mga naka-pledge as security for liabilities. Okay? Amount of commitments for the development or acquisition of bioasset and financial risk management strategies related to agricultural activities. What else? Ito, ang dami-dami, ano? Reconciliation ng changes ng carrying amount at the beginning at the end. Okay? So, gain or loss, increases due to purchases, decreases due to harvest, okay, increases resulting from business combination, tapos mga translation adjustments, no, net exchange differences, and other changes. Okay, although kadalasan, ito po ay yung E&F ay seldom, no, kasi syempre, kung walang business combination, edi wala ka namang disclosure sa E. Kung local lang naman yung company mo, edi wala ka namang translation ng financial statements. This only happens kapag may mga branches ka sa ibang bansa and your financial statements in foreign currency will have to be translated to Philippine peso because your headquarters is in the PH. Halimbawa, si Jollibee. Okay? So, ayun class. Ito yung ating mga disclosures. Meron pa? Additional disclosures daw kapag yung fair value cannot be measured reliably. Pa-check na lamang po nito. Take note ha, cost less accumulated depreciation and impairment loss. So, i-disclose yung description, explanation, bakit hindi ma-measure reliably, yung range ng estimate, highly likely, no? Okay? The depreciation method, kasi syempre, i-depreciate natin, useful life, depreciation rates, gross carrying amount. So, past 16, no? Consider yung mga yun. Alright? Ito pa. Kung may impairment losses during the period, may reversal ba yung depreciation? Okay? Tapos, kung nakuha na natin yung fair value, if we can now reliably measure the fair value, we need to disclose yung description ng biological asset, papaanong nangyari at mamimeasure na natin reliably. At ano yung epekto ng change na. So, those are your disclosures. What else? Meron pa? Ito. Disclosures related to government grant on bioasset, no? Nature and extent ng grant, Unfulfilled conditions and other contingencies, meron ba? Significant decreases expected in the level of government grants. No. And basically, we are done. Class, when I prepare this material, my main reference is past 41. And of course, now in coordination with the books of Dean Empleo and Prof. Robles and Sir Sus Milan. Okay? So that's a wrap. Now, let us wrap this discussion, this video lecture. Maraming salamat. Sana po nakatulong ito no, para maintindihan ang ating past 41. If you have any questions, please let me know. And hopefully, I can address and I have time, especially sa hindi ko mga estudyante. Hopefully, ma-address ko yung mga tanong. Okay? So hanggang dito na lamang po muna. Maraming salamat. I'll see you around. Thank you. Bye-bye.